The Friendship by Cat Yeah. Hedgehog was curled up in a prickly little ball in the lonely little nook of a lonely little tree when she heard someone say her name. Poor Hedgehog seemed so lonely. I know, but it will get better. Friendship is out there. All she has to do is look. Hedgehog jumped up. The friendship is out there? All I have to do is look. And she got to work at once. What you doing? Asked a curious beaver. I'm sailing the seas in search of the friendship, said Hedgehog. The friendship, said Beaver. Can I come? I want a friend. Oh, yes, said Hedgehog. And the two set off. They had not sailed long when they came upon a herd of migrating deer. Excuse me, called Hedgehog. Have you seen the friendship? The friendship? Man, I could use a friend. Me too. Me too. Me too. Hasn't been the same since old Irving left. Can we come? Oh, yes, said Hedgehog. Double yes, said Beaver. And they all sailed on. Excuse me, called Hedgehog to a little rat. Have you seen the friendship? The friendship, said the rat. No, but pretty please with stinky cheese, can I come? Oh, yes, said Hedgehog. Double yes, said the beaver. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yesity, yes, said the deer. And they all sailed on. They sailed north into icy seas. North, north, north. They sailed south into stormy seas. South, south, south. They sailed east straight into the sunrise. East, east, east. Every time Hedgehog asked, have you seen the friendship? The answer was always no. But any time she was asked, can I come too? The answer was always, well, yes. But after a few days, Hedgehog wanted to curl up into a prickly little ball again. Everyone gathered around her. Don't give up, said the beaver. We'll stick with you till the end. You can count on me. And me too. We'll find old Irving. He'll cheer you up. Hedgehog looked at the smiling faces around her. You're right, she said. The friendship is out here. All we have to do is look. Let's give it one last try. And she pointed to an island. It was a very small island with one elephant. Excuse me, said the Hedgehog. Have you seen the friendship? The friendship, said the elephant. Well, isn't that it right over there? Hedgehog spun around, then sighed, oh no, that's just my... Hedgehog's mouth fell open at the sight before her, and she couldn't believe she hadn't realized sooner. Look, she called out, the answer is right in front of us, and she pointed straight at the sunset. We haven't tried sailing west yet. Everyone hugged and cheered. Yay! West, west, west! Come on, Hedgehog said to the elephant, and together they went back to the ship where they all laughed and danced and celebrated as they sailed into the sunset together. And if any of you are wondering if they would ever find what they were looking for, the answer would have to be, well, yes, 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 yesity, yes. The end. Alone by Barry Falls. There once was a boy called Billy McGill who lived by himself on the top of a hill. He spent every day in his house all alone, for Billy McGill liked to be on his own. This is my hill, said Billy McGill. I live here alone, always have, always will. splendid aloneness. Yes, that was the aim. So nobody called and nobody came. Life was so fast down below in the town, with the people, the traffic, the rushing around, the hustle and bustle, the coming and going. The world never stopped with its toing and froing. But life on the hill stayed exactly the same. Nobody called, nobody came. "This is my hill," said Billy McGill. "I live here alone, always have, always will. From morning to night and all the year round, there was barely a whisper and hardly a sound. Not a plip, not a plop, not a hum, not a creak. Till one day the horror, a scratch and squeak. Billy searched high and low and all over the house until under the bed he discovered a mouse. "No," Billy muttered, "I can't accept that." So he went into town and he brought back a cat. "This is my hill," said Billy McGill. "I live here alone, always have, always will. This cat will give chase to the mouse, yes it will, and then peace will return to my house on the hill." But the cat liked to play and the mouse was the same, and they both thought the chase was a wonderful game. "Oh no," Billy cried, "it's a dog that I need. It'll chase off this cat and this mouse with great speed." But the dog joined the game with the cat and the mouse, and they ran round in circles all over the house. "Oh no," Billy cried, "what they need is a scare." So he went to the zoo, snuck out with a bear. But the bear felt quite tired, and with hardly a peep, he and the cat and the dog fell asleep. "Oh no," Billy cried, "I must wake them up quick." A roar from a tiger just might do the trick. But the tiger he fetched had a terrible sneeze, and the roar when it came was no more than a wheeze. "This won't do," Billy said. "I must get him a vet, for I will get rid of these animals yet." Poor tiger. "This is my hill," said Billy McGill. "I live here alone, always have, always will. The vet, when she came, said, 'Let's knit him a sweater. This beast has a cold. It will make him feel better.' I can do it for you. You must get me some wool. Find a sheep with a coat that is fluffy and full." Oh my, another animal. So the sheep Billy found was as big as a cloud. "How on earth will I clip it?" he wondered aloud. "My friend's a hairdresser. He'll know what to do," said the vet. "He will shear this sheep nicely for you." So the vet asked her friend, "Can you help?" He said, "Maybe, as long as you're there to look after my baby." "This is my hill," said Billy McGill. "I live here alone, always have, always will." Not happy. As soon as they came, the poor babe started crying, and the hairdresser said, "There's just no use in trying. I can't shear the sheep while the baby's upset. We must get him a toy. Oh, the poor little pet." "To the toy shop," said Billy. "I'll be back very soon." He returned with a fabulous bright red balloon. "Oh, how perfectly chosen," the hairdresser said. "His favorite color has always been red." Just at that moment, the wind began blowing. The house was besieged by a thunderstorm growing. The balloon disappeared in a gust through the door. Whoosh! The hairdresser screamed. The baby cried sore. "Enough!" Billy roared. "I can't take any more. All this noise and confusion, and what is it for? This is my hill. I am Billy McGill. I live here alone, always have, always will." With a huff and a puff and a miserable frown, he trekked off through the rain to the far side of town, and beyond through the valley and over the sea to a place high and lonely where no one would be. "Now this is my hill," said Billy McGill. "I live on my own, always have, always will." The evening grew cold, and as the sun set, he thought of the tiger, the sheep, and the vet. and the dog and the bear and the hairdresser too. And just then a red balloon blew into view. And the poor little baby popped into his head, the baby whose favorite color was red. He reached for the string and he went down the hill and over the sea and kept going until he had passed through the town and arrived at his house, the one with the dog and the cat and the mouse. There was noise and confusion and poop everywhere, and the sheep was asleep with the bear on the chair. And he handed the baby the bright red balloon. The baby stopped crying and fell fast asleep. And the hairdresser set about shearing the sheep. The vet made a sweater. The tiger soon wore, and the tiger, much better, recovered his roar. The bear, in a panic, ran out of the house, chasing after the dog and the cat and the mouse. The rest of them left in a minute or so, and Billy was pleased to see everyone go. "This is my hill," said Billy McGill. "I live here alone. Always have, always will." Now Billy is happy and peace is restored. His house on the hill is in chaos no more. There's hardly a whisper, there's barely a sound, except every Tuesday when friends come around. The end. Hi friends, this is how you make your fall leaf hedgehog. The library will be providing you with the hedgehog cutout and a piece of construction paper. And you guys will need to provide for yourselves some fall leaves that you just pick up off the ground and some glue. The first thing we're going to do is glue the hedgehog onto the piece of construction paper. Okay, once you've glued your hedgehog onto the piece of paper, made sure he's all straight and all of him is glued down, then check out your leaves that you picked. Are they a little bit wet? Sometimes they are because they're upside down, they're under another plant or something like that. So you just want to dry them off so that they will, the glue will stick to them. The next thing you want to do is start arranging your leaves onto the back of the hedgehog like quills. You can make them overlap, and don't worry about the stems because they'll be covered by other leaves. Okay, and as you make one row, you're going to glue that row down, and then you're going to start the next row. Okay, so as you can see, I used a lot of glue on the hedgehog. You can actually see chunks of glue because I really want to make sure that those leaves stay stuck down. And the leaf is not flat, right? It's you know, bumpy, and some of it lays flat on close to the paper and some of it's up away from the paper. So take the part that naturally lays close to the paper and glue that part down. Usually it's the middle towards the stem. Okay, and then you want to make sure you get a piece of glue for this guy to stick into, and he's overlapping. And you got another little chunk of glue right here, so I'm going to stick this leaf onto it. Okay, now he's starting to look like a hedgehog because there's his prickly quills sticking off of his body. Okay, I'm going to do the next row. Okay, for the next row, I actually took two gigantic leaves and ripped pieces off, because if I put another leaf here that's very big, it's going to kind of take over his face. So I just am going to use a piece. Okay, I put down more glue, and now I'm going to overlap because I really don't want to see any of the white. And you also want to make sure that you don't cover his eye. You know what? I think I'll use a bigger piece right there. I'm going to have to put more glue on that guy for sure. I can use a big piece right here. And you want to be able to see his little feet because they don't have quills on their feet, of course. All right, so I'm going to glue this one down better, and then we'll be ready for our last row. What I did for this last row is I took those three big leaves that I had set aside over here, and I just ripped the stems off because I want them to make a nice, pretty straight line. That's going to be kind of like a collar that goes here. Okay, so now we're going to put a lot of glue on here and place this next row on him. Okay, you can see he's shiny with glue. Got this big piece down here. I'm avoiding his eye. I'm going to put this greener one in the middle just for a little interest. And this top one on the top. I'm going to rip this extra piece off because it's going to be too big for his head. And let's see what side looks better. Turn them over. Nope, I think this side looks better. Okay, so we kind of have a collar around his face. There's no quills on his cute little face, and you can certainly use your crayons at home if you want to color his face and his little feet. But now you're just going to make sure you press down on your leaves and give it a little time to dry, and your fall hedgehog is all done. Happy fall.